Hey BookTube! Welcome back to the channel Lindz Smiles, where we like to talk about books because literature makes us smile. So today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different for you guys, and I just have kind of a bookish discussion about something that's been on my mind this month. And that has been female authors and why it feels like I don't read a whole lot of them. Girl power. Now, I am not meaning for this video to come across sexist, or to say that female writers are better than male writers by any means, or even to say that everybody out there should be reading more books by female authors. I mean, read whatever you want to read. But I did find my own reading habits kind of interesting. When I look to classic novels, for example, I feel like a lot of the books that I have read, and what it seems like a lot of other people have been reading, have been primarily written by men. Which makes sense because with the time period that most of these classics were written in, it was significantly harder for women to get published, but still. I think we all kind of have a few select female authors that pop up in our head when we think of classic novels. Jane Austen, Emily and Charlotte Bronte. I would say the Brontes, but that's not fair because nobody ever wants to talk about Anne. Maybe Virginia Woolf. If we include more modern writers, you might think of Harper Lee or Toni Morrison. Then you take the time to think about classic male authors. And I don't know about you guys, but I can probably name like 10 times as many male classic authors as I can females. Hemingway, Orwell, Mark Twain, Edgar Allan Poe, Henry David Thoreau, Kurt Vonnegut, Ray Bradbury, Faulkner, Kerouac, Fitzgerald, Dickens, Shakespeare, Robert Louis Stevenson, Jonathan Swift, Tolstoy, Kafka. If you take the time to go modern, you get Cormac McCarthy and Stephen King and Neil Gaiman and C.S. Lewis and Chinua Achebe, and that's barely scratching the surface. So I looked to poetry, and still I had maybe 3 females come to my brain when I thought of famous female poets. And that was Emily Dickinson, Maya Angelou, and Sylvia Plath. Again, not to say that there are not way more amazing female poets out there, but these are the only 3 that I could think of that were popularized off the top of my head. Comparing this then to the incredibly famous male counterpart poets, you've got Robert Frost, Walt Whitman, Keats, Yeats, Langston Hughes, Wordsworth, Blake, Silverstein, Dylan Thomas, Kipling. The sheer numbers are kind of mind-boggling to me of how much more I have read written by men than by women. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with this in and of itself, but it's kind of something interesting about myself that I hadn't noticed and that I kind of want to change. And yeah, these are mostly classics, but I see the same types of things happening even with major writing awards, or publication numbers, or literary prizes. For example, the Nobel Prize in Literature has been awarded 113 times since 1901, and only 14 of those were to women. In the last 15 years, only 5 women have won Pulitzer Prizes in fiction, and only 6 have won in poetry, which I'll admit is better, but it's still only half as many as the men. I'm not an editor or someone who chooses who wins these prizes, so I don't really know why this is happening, but I will say it stood out to me. Now, the only genre that I do see kind of the opposite happening in with this is young adult works, because I feel like there are a lot more women writing young adult books, and we have a lot stronger female audience for young adult books. I don't know why, but I see that. I think it's really cool. I don't know why it's happening. I think boys should read young adult books too, but there it is. In general, I guess I'm just not really sure that female writers are getting all of the appreciation that they deserve. Like maybe they're just not being read as much, and I don't know why, because it is definitely not that they're not as good as the guys, because like seriously, have you ever read a book by Toni Morrison or Sylvia Plath? I guess it's just something I kind of wanted to talk about and see if it was something we could all discuss or work on as a community of readers and writers to make it clear that these authors are appreciated and that this is a multi-gender field. I want to be clear that I am not at all saying that we should only read books by female authors, because men have amazing things to say too. What I am saying is that I don't think the gender of an author should matter, and that we should be reading amazing books by amazing writers and congratulate and praise them for the awesome work that they're putting out. So yeah, that is a little bit different than what I would usually talk about, but hopefully you guys found it interesting. If you did, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button down there. I would love to hear what you guys have to think. I would love to hear what you guys have to say about this, so go ahead and keep the conversation going in the comments down there, and if you want to make your own video, go ahead and tag me. I'd love to see it. But yeah, I will see you guys next time. Bye-o.